the final push before millions of Americans go to the polls to determine of the balance of power and what to expect.
Abortion rights, the political impact and what Texans think. We have the story.
And election scammers are coming for your data. I'll tell you what to watch for tonight.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Madison Myers.
And I'm Sydney Deshawn. 5.5 million Texans have already cast their votes, and tomorrow millions more will take to the polls and make their voices heard on Election Day in America. CNN's Isabella Rosales lays out what's at stake on the national level and explains which races matter the most in the battle for control of Congress.
Make no mistake, democracy is on the ballot for all of us.
In this last sprint toward the midterm elections, candidates across the country are making their closing pitch, and voters casting ballots in record numbers.
What's happening in this country is not okay, and we are all suffering.
Democrats battling to maintain control of the Senate, their majority razor thin. 35 of 100 Senate seats on the ballot. In the House, all 435 seats on the ballot. Speaker Nancy Pelosi facing an uphill battle to hold her majority.
I see Democrats spending money in seats that Biden won by 20 points. New York. And why is it competitive? Cost of living, crime, the inflation.
Statewide, 36 governor seats up for grabs. But all eyes on crucial battleground states.
Get people to vote.
Arizona, home to contested Senate and gubernatorial races. 12 of the 13 Republican nominees for federal and state office have questioned the results of the 2020 election, according to the Washington Post. Also critical, Nevada, Georgia, and Pennsylvania.
Are you happy with where America's headed?
One of the nation's most closely watched Senate races.
Fundamental rights are on the ballot.
And where 3 presidents stumped this weekend. President Biden's declining popularity, plus rising inflation and gas prices, are making it hard for Democrats to see a clear path ahead. On Capitol Hill, I'm Isabel Rosales.
In a move to protect voters' rights, the Department of Justice announced plans to send election monitors across the U.S. for Tuesday's midterms. The DOJ will send personnel to 64 election sites across 24 states to make sure polling locations are following federal voting laws. These election monitors will include employees from the DOJ Civil Rights Division and the U.S. Attorney's Office. This is a normal part of the election process. The practice of election monitors dates back to the 1965 Voting Rights Act.
Be sure to set your alarms nice and early tomorrow at around 5 a.m. A total lunar eclipse will be visible across North America. Also called a blood moon, the moon will appear a reddish-orange in the sky for about an hour and a half. Worried about missing it? Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles will be at the event live streaming. Be sure to tune in because the next full lunar won't be until 2025.
Well, Sydney, I'll definitely be looking out for that lunar eclipse tomorrow, but only if the weather is nice.
For sure. I was so upset when it was raining today, but I grabbed my umbrella, so I'm glad I got it with me. Let's check in with our weather anchor, Ryan Cantrell, to see what we can expect for the rest of the week. Ryan?
Well, guys, the rain is basically over, and we are just experiencing some cloudy conditions. We had a bit of a micro warm front. It just brought a few showers here and there within the Metroplex, but that's all gone. But currently here in Denton, it's cloudy, 72 degrees with a heat index of 73. And southeast winds at 5 miles per hour. On to tonight, unfortunately, we're probably not going to get good stuff for that lunar eclipse this morning because we are going to expect some more rain. I'd give it about a 20% chance of precipitation, but mostly cloudy skies. Temperature will be 68, and those winds will not change. Now on to for tomorrow, Election Day, we'll see mostly cloudy skies in the morning, then it'll clear up in the afternoon. Temperature will be 74 with a heat index of 76 degrees, and those winds will not change. That's all I have for my first look weather. Stick around as I talk about what's in store for this week in Denton and my full weather forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. The rain today is thankfully lighter than last Friday. The weather was more severe than usual for this time of year. In fact, there were 4 confirmed tornadoes, and there could be more as damage assessments are completed. Those tornadoes touched down in Hopkins, Rains, Henderson, and Lamar counties. These twisters damaged homes and businesses in their paths across Texas, but it's too early to know the full extent of the damage.
We didn't have the damaging tornadoes, but we certainly had a lot of rain.
A lot of high schools moved their football games from Friday to Thursday, and we did the same thing.
It wasn't the game, but rather our homecoming bonfire that's been a tradition for more than 50 years. ntTV's Abe Park got a chance to join in on the fun and talk to students at the event.
Just last Thursday, the University of North Texas kicked off their homecoming celebration with their annual tradition of the UNT bonfire right outside Apogee Stadium, hosted by UNT's Talons. Many students attended this event, with everyone having a unique experience with loud music, dancing, and student award ceremonies.
3, 1, 2, 3, go Mean Green!
Leading up to the fireworks, and of course the bonfire itself. I got a chance to talk to some of the students about their experience.
Honestly, this is the best because I've never got to experience homecoming. And honestly, the atmosphere around here, the people, the excitement, the joy, it's something I can never imagine. And I'm grateful I got to spend it with my friends and family.
I love the bonfire. I love it so much. I wish I could have been one of the people to build it.
For some students, this is their first time at such a large event on campus. But for others, it's a key moment in their college experience as they end their final semester. The bonfire also definitely gave these students an exciting hype leading up to their homecoming game against FIU on Saturday.
Throws back in the end zone, caught, touchdown!
From ntTV News, I'm Abraham Park.
Up next, the political implication on the ongoing abortion election.
And coming up, how to get a quick and free treat during the election, so stay with us.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
As we dive into some of the topics surrounding this year's election, abortion rights have become a real hot button issue for voters, regardless of their political party. When the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, the issue galvanized women across the nation, at least in the early days. ntTV's Isabella Quintanilla has more on this controversial political issue.
Back in June, the Supreme Court overturned a long-standing constitutional right to abortion, sparking a new round of debate across the country.
It's not unheard of for the Supreme Court to overturn a precedent, but it is unusual, and particularly to take back a right that had been recognized 50 years ago.
Here in Texas, the topic of abortion rights has been at the front and center of the governor's race. Candidates Greg Abbott and Beto O'Rourke have completely different views on the issue.
Because their stances are so, significantly different, I obviously had to make the choice of, okay, well, Roe v. Wade's been overturned, which means I might potentially, with Abbott's stance on abortion and him being our current, state governor, I might potentially lose contraception. I might potentially lose the option, if something terrible was to happen, to receive an abortion.
Governor Greg Abbott's position is clear, saying in this statement, quote, Texas will always fight for the innocent unborn, and I will continue working with the Texas legislature and all Texans to save every child from the ravages of abortion and help our expectant mothers in need.
The healthcare piece is about making sure that you save the life of the mother and the child. So in that regard, yes, it is a healthcare issue, and it's always important to save the life.
Candidate Beto O'Rourke takes a clear pro-choice stance, arguing that women in Texas have the right to an abortion and should be allowed to make that decision for themselves. This divide has encouraged a record number of women to vote in the 2022 midterm election.
There's much more of an incentive of, well, we have to go vote. Our voice has to matter, because otherwise, where are we then?
Here in Texas, around half of new registered voters are women, and according to the New York Times, across the U.S., the number of women registering to vote has risen by 35%.
As long as abortion is so highly politicized, that's going to be a big issue in this state.
For ntTV News, I'm Isabella Quintanilla.
A recent study found that Texans receive the second most robocalls and texts around election time, and scammers are taking advantage. ntTV's Crystal Prentice explains what to watch for and how you can protect your money and your identity. Crystal?
With the election coming up tomorrow, you've probably been receiving mail, emails, texts, or phone calls from candidates vying for your vote. Although it is common for candidates to reach out to the public, some of those messages and calls could be scammers trying to trick you into personal information and money. They do this by making fake posts, conducting surveys, and even sending out donation requests to potentially get passwords, accounts, numbers, and social security numbers. To avoid election-related scams, donate directly to the campaign office or official website. Also, research fundraising organizations before donating, and don't give out your personal or banking information. Political posters don't need your social security number or all your credit card information for you to donate or vote. But don't let the scammers discourage you from voting. All polls open tomorrow at 7 a.m. That's all I have for you today. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Crystal. You know, Maddie, I really hope the weather stays nice tomorrow for elections.
Me too, Sydney, but let's check in with our weather anchor, Ryan Cantrell, to see what is in store for us this week. Ryan?
Well, guys, we have some pretty okay weather for tomorrow. However, I will get in that in our 7-day forecast. But let's take a look at our live shot apogee camera. Already nightfall, thanks to daylight savings, and not much really going on. There's no rain. It's just primarily overcast. A little windy. We can see our windmills moving right there, but that's really all that's going on right now. Across the board, we're seeing temperatures all in the low 70s. We are at 75 in Dallas and Fort Worth, 73 in McKinney, all the way out there in Graham and in Stephenville are both at 72, and 68 is the outlier at, Bowie at 68 is the outlier. And across the state of Texas, we're seeing a little bit of a more variation. Still in those mid-70s. We got some high 70s too. Houston at 77, here at 72, Oklahoma City at 62, Amarillo at 59, and all the way in El Paso at 68 degrees. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast for Denton. Election day tomorrow, mostly cloudy starting off, clearing up later, high of 78, low of 64. Wednesday we'll see a high of 80 degrees, 63 low. Thursday, we're going to get a cold front blow through midday, high of 78, low of 44. And then Friday onward, thanks to that cold front, we're going to get some high pressure and cold air, primarily making it clear, and highs all in those low 50s and lows in the low 30s. That's all I have for my full weather forecast. However, with it being pretty windy here, we know some apartments can sustain winds. But how are they with sustainability in general? Our Living Green anchor, Kelsey Clark, has more. Kelsey?
Thanks, Ryan. Living Green is all about living sustainably, but is that possible to do in student housing? I got the opportunity to speak to a sustainable UNT student to learn more about her tips on how to best live green. Living sustainably in student housing may sound difficult, but with these tips, being green has never been more easy. Recycling is a huge first step. Recycle any paper, plastic, metal, and glass you've used.
The apartments here in the dorms make it really easy. I know when I moved into my freshman dorm, there was already a recycling pail that was already in the dorm, and there are recycling garbage disposals right outside of the dorms most of the time. So they make it really simple, and that's a great way to do it. Or also just taking small measures like changing out your water bottles to plastic or to reusable water bottles. Any ways that you can just make small changes in your day-to-day life.
Next, limit your water usage. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, using water-saving techniques can save you money and diverts less water from our rivers.
I try to use as less water as possible. I also vote for senators and governors who are going to make a difference in our community, and I just make sure I try to limit my track on this earth.
According to the CDC, living a sustainable lifestyle not only improves your health, but it also saves the earth.
Live sustainably because we only have one earth and we're only here for a limited amount of time, and it's our job to make sure that there's still a world left for the people that come after us. And I think it's really important just to limit our track on this world.
Remember to recycle and limit water and energy usage. All of these combined make for a great way to live as green as can be. That's all from me. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kelsey. Up next, the NBA changes all games scheduled for tomorrow for the midterms.
And later, record-breaking jackpot to win a whole lot of money, but what is the largest prize ever offered? Stay with us to find out.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Midterm elections are coming up across the country on November 8th, and here at North Texas Television, we'll be giving you live updates throughout the night.
National and state race updates, original content on political issues, and bilingual coverage, North Texas Television is here to keep you informed.
We'll also have experts in political science and sociology to share their takes on hot-button issues at stake in these races.
Our live reporters will be covering the evening in Dallas, Denton, and the state capital, Austin, Texas.
Be sure to tune in for midterm election coverage right here on North Texas Television. We'll be going live from 7 to 9 p.m. on Frontier 46, Charter 192, YouTube, and Facebook.
Do not drive. A warning issued for thousands of Dodge and Chrysler vehicles of the year 2005 to 2010. We take it live to Kyle Orr to see what exactly is going on in the automotive world. Kyle?
Thanks, Maddie. This is the largest series of auto recalls in U.S. history, and it has to do with Takata airbags that came standard with many older models of Dodge and Chrysler vehicles. So far, there have been 32 reported deaths worldwide as a result of these defective airbags, with 23 of those deaths occurring in warm weather U.S. states. The ammonium nitrate used to deploy the airbags in the event of a crash becomes more volatile over time when exposed to repeated high temperatures. This can result in the airbag exploding like a grenade upon deployment. The vehicles involved in this recall include the Dodge Magnum, Dodge Challenger, Dodge Charger, and Chrysler 300, all dating back from 2005 to 2010. Stellantis encourages the owners of the 276,000 vehicles in question to call their helpline for more information. Well, this is undoubtedly some very, very bad news for the owners of those vehicles, and we will continue to provide updates as they become available. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, in case you missed it, last week, nobody won the huge Powerball jackpot, and while nearly $2 billion sounds like a lot of money, okay, it is a lot of money, is all of this really what it's cracked up to be? To answer that and other lottery questions, here is CNN's Ivan Rodriguez.
What would you do if you won almost $2 billion?
What would I do? Well, I definitely would quit my job and travel.
Charities and definitely take care of my family.
I don't even know. That's just a life-changing amount of money.
That could be the reality for someone or someones by 11 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. With no top prize winners for the last 40 drawings, Monday night's Powerball has the biggest jackpot in lottery history. an expected $1.9 billion. The odds of winning matching all 5 numbers and the Powerball are almost 1 in 300 million. But before you start making your list of exactly how you would spend it, there are a few things to consider. The jackpot amount is what you would take home before taxes if you choose to get 30 equal payments of $63 million over the next 29 years. If you decide to take the cash option in one lump sum, you'd get about $929 million. However, the IRS takes 24% right off the top, plus it's possible the state you win in gets a cut. Annuity payments are always bigger than the cash value because the lottery sponsor invests your winnings over time, which mature and earn interest annually. And the recent federal interest rates are actually causing that value to increase. But whatever you choose to do tomorrow after you win the jackpot, it's enough for you and your favorite coworkers to retire on.
Probably do the payout so I can help my family and help people in need and volunteer.
In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Now, if you aren't lucky enough to win that $1.9 billion jackpot, no worries, you can still get a free donut.
Yes, Sydney, a free donut from Krispy Kreme. Even better news, no purchase necessary for proof of vote needed by anybody trying to snatch up their free glazed donut for the day.
The company hopes to remind people of how important it is to vote as midterms approach with this glazed freebie. Krispy Kreme also gave away free donuts 2 years ago for the 2020 presidential election, which had the highest voter turnout of the 21st century, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Coincidence? I think not.
Now, while there might be free donuts tomorrow, one thing's for sure, there won't be any NBA games being played. The NBA has decided for all 30 teams to play today instead of tomorrow in hopes of getting people out to vote with no distractions whatsoever. The scheduling decision comes out of the NBA's focus on promoting civic engagement as well as encouraging fans to go out and vote during midterms, which happens to be tomorrow. The league will resume play Wednesday, November 9th, with 13 games on the slate beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
You know, guys, I think it's awesome that the NBA is encouraging everyone to go out and vote.
Yes, I think it was a great decision, but I want to know what you think, Alec.
Yeah, I mean, this is big. The NBA has never done anything like this before, and it just shows that they're dedicated to such an important day like tomorrow. And speaking of important days, Saturday was very important here at North Texas with homecoming and a ceremony honoring 2 trailblazers. More on that after this.
Can I see your voter registration, please? All right, you're good. No registration, no entry. All right. Let me see your voter registration card, please.
I'm not registered to vote.
No registration, no entry.
Dude, my friends are already in there.
No registration, no entry.
What the?
Join the club. Register to vote today.
Has the weight of stress and anxiety ever felt too heavy to overcome? Wish there was a safe place to confide in? Wish granted. At UNT, we offer counseling and testing services to students located on the 3rd floor of Chestnut Hall. UNT, we're here for you.
On Saturday, the University of North Texas honored 2 trailblazers, Abner Haynes and Dr. Leon King, the first African-American athletes at the university, as well as the first players to integrate a football program at a 4-year university in the state of Texas. The school unveiled its Unity Plaza, which is located outside the entrance of the Mean Green practice facility, which honors both men, featuring busts of both players, as well as a plaque detailing their accomplishments. UNT officials want the plaza to serve as a reminder for years to come of the barriers broken by both of these men. Now, I want you to imagine if you had $75 million. Well, Jim McInvale, aka Mattress Mac, doesn't need to imagine after winning a record-breaking $75 million payout on a bet that he placed on the Houston Astros to win it all. The Astros clinched their 2nd title on Saturday with a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. Mattress Mac runs a promotion each season that will pay back customers who spend $3,000 or more on a mattress at his store. In light of the team's victory, the city of Houston held a championship parade today, and city officials estimated over 1 million fans attended the 3-mile-long celebration. The Astros have played in 4 of the last 6 championships, winning their first in 2017 and capping off 2022 with another one. And Halloween a week ago, and one local baseball team put a fun spin on the holiday. Rock Hill Baseball took a different approach to Halloween by suiting up in costume to play America's pastime.
So I was over at Prosper High School and did it, and now every year it's just something that the boys look forward to every year. I think primarily just, we are grinding every day, especially this is our off season, so I mean it's a constant, whether we're in the weight room or we're out here on the field. So this is just kind of a relaxation. We're going to have fun, kind of out of their element, doing something or dressing up as they normally wouldn't.
It's just fun. We get to see all unique costumes, and we just have a blast playing baseball. What's more better?
Of course, it's a ton of fun to come out here and get dressed up, and these kids, they're having a great time playing the game in costume, but there is a deeper meaning behind this Halloween baseball game.
And it's pretty competitive, and sometimes it can be pretty, more on the edge of your seat. So for this is just a fun time for the boys to get together, have some bonding and some brotherhood action going on.
Yeah, I think it bonds the team together, and we can just hang out and play some baseball and have some fun.
It turns out that playing in a costume is a lot harder than it looks. But this game allows players to have fun, play baseball, and bond together as a team. The game brought friends and family out to see this spectacle of dinosaurs, sharks, and rubber chickens hit the diamond. I don't know about you guys, that was so much fun. What did you think?
Gosh, Alec, that looked like so much fun. You did way better than I could have ever did in that costume.
I know, I honestly wish I could have been there, but I would have been sweating in that suit costume. It looked a lot.
Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night here at 6 on North Texas Television.